Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Got Bashan and Chris on from the Unfiltered Longhorn Talk crew on Facebook. You guys know what time it is when we have these brothers in here. They come from a community, what are you guys, over 15, 16,000 strong in there? Something
Oh
crazy,
yeah, most
right?
definitely, yes, sir.
So unbelievable community there. If you're from that community and you're not familiar with me, please subscribe. I am a part of the Unfiltered Longhorn Talk community as well. So we all bleed burnt orange. As you also
Yes,
come
sir.
into the chat, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, the whole bit. We want to make sure that helping me grow the platform, helping this channel as we've done over the years, especially since I was here when we were down bad and now we're number one, and we're out here SEC debut, or favored by damn near 40 points. Sunshine is up. Everything is looking good. But we want to get into some of the skinny, right? I have not talked to Vashawn and Chris on this platform with you guys since the season started, right? So I want to get you guys' grades real quick for non-con, right, and how we've done so far, and then we're going to look ahead, not just at Mississippi State, but the SEC schedule ahead, and kind of see what we need to work on, what needs to improve, and things of that sort. As always, we will talk with the chat. I see my man V Brown in here. Odd Future, you guys, what is up? Make sure y'all sub up. Extreme Gamer Mac, the number one hater on the planet, is here on time as always with his 3430 reminder here. Brother, you need to be focused on Auburn. That's all I'm going to say there. Okay, focus on Auburn. Um, Vashawn and Chris. So, uh, fellas, Vashawn, I'll start with you. Just overall, and maybe you can take us into the Quinn Arch conversation we were already having, but terrific start, right? I mean, how are you feeling as a fan? What's the product been looking like to you?
Product's been looking good, man. I mean, eyeball test, they passing it. They're executing, and that's one of the things you want to see early in the season. You know, we know we got a talent gap now. Besides Michigan, of course, we knew we coming in Colorado State, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe. We're going to have a talent gap, but what you wanted to see is execution. And man, so far, so good. I mean, we can sit here and nitpick on some few things, um, but I just start off with some things I'm loving. You know, right now we're, a red zone offense. Man, it's it's sick. Last year we ranked 87th in the country in red zone offense with an 80% conversion rate, 19 touchdowns total, 50% conversion rate. This year so far, now it's early, guys, and I understand that everybody's gonna, hey man, just it's early, but it didn't look like this last year scoring touchdowns in the red zone. This year we're ranked 19th, 95 completion, I mean conversion rate, 22 out of 23. We're ranked number one in the country with 22 touchdowns and a 91% conversion rate, and we're ranked number one in red zone passing touchdowns. To me, Steve, that's the big difference right there, brother. Throwing the touchdowns in the red zone has opened up the red zone completely. One of the things I talked about Quinn's maturity level is hitting those tight windows down in the red zone. And last year all we tried to do was just pretty much power it in, or we threw a fade or a slot fade or something like that. This year, Quinn is RP on him. He's throwing slot fades. He's throwing it all, man. He's throwing inside, outside breaking routes, you name it. And it's paying dividends. And even in our red zone rushing touchdowns, we're number 5. And looking at last year, it just wasn't the case. So I'm really, really, really loving that part. I think that's going to pay dividends going forward as we get to talking later on about the rest of the schedule, because man, it's just Sark has so much to call once we hit that red zone area. The whole field's open up. And now the defense is forced to cover every blade of grass down there in the red zone. Now, I can nitpick a few things. Oh, well, I'm gonna keep on talking about the likes. Another thing I like too is our defense. Bro, we're number one in the country in total touchdown scores allowed. Number one, man, and that defense is flying around. It's quick, it's fast. Some people might say, "Oh, well, we're not getting enough sacks." Hey, man, it looks different, but we're getting the number one results that we need, and that's stopping people from scoring in the red zone. Last year we was good. We was number 8 in the country, but this year so far in the first 4 games we're number one. Now to nitpick, because we always got to nitpick. We're Texas fans. That's what we like to do. We don't care if you win 75 to nothing. Something don't look right. Oh, we
Well,
didn't get
especially
enough
with the
sacks.
goal, we're the number
Huh?
one team in the country. The goal right now is a national championship. We have to nitpick at
That's
the
it.
highest level.
We're at the highest level. So we done made it to that creme de la creme. Let's nitpick. Instead of having a long list, we got a little short list. Only thing I can say though, Steve and Chris, is just to beat nitpicking is explosive runs over 20 yards. Last year, Jonathan Brooks, he had, I think he had 11 runs like that.
Mhm.
CJ Baxter only had 3. Now, I'm going to make a point in that. I'm going to make a point off of that in a minute, because some might point to Steve and Chris and say, well, the offensive line is not doing a good job. Well, guys, I went back and rewatched the games, and I advise all of you guys, and I challenge all of you guys, and Vince is on here. Uh, Vince is on here too, and Vince he's a film junkie like me. Let's go back and look at the holes that are being opened, guys. The holes are there. What the offensive line is doing their job. They're doing a fabulous job. Matter of fact, we got 4 of the same offensive linemen that was there last year that was opening up those holes for Jonathan Brooks. But this is the difference for those who played running back. Right now, and I'm saying right now, guys, because I don't believe this trend will continue this way. You know, uh, the offensive line is getting the running backs past the first line and the second wave. Not all the time the second. So they're escorting the running backs at least to the second level where the linebackers are at. Sometimes to the third level where we're not getting the long runs, and this is where you get the long runs. Either the running back's going to have to make the third level miss, which is the safeties. That's what Jonathan Brooks was so good at. That's what B. John Robinson was so good at. Matter of fact, if you think about it, guys, the reason C.J. Baxter, and he's a good, fabulous running back, didn't have as many long runs as Jonathan Brooks last year, guess what? They played behind the same offensive line. What it was, Brooks was exceptional at making the cutback, which when you're flowing one way in the gap system, all the linebackers and the safety is going to flow to that hole, that gap. What Jonathan Brooks excelled at, he hit the cutback lane.
Mhm.
Nobody's over there. So he had bigger runs, and then he was good at making the third level miss, which is your safeties.
Mhm.
Jonathan Brooks, Wisner, Jared Gibson, if y'all notice, they're getting 5, 6, 7 yards a clip, but they're just going through the assigned gap that they're running. But in inside zone, a lot of the runs in inside zone, you pick the hole. It's your choice. You find the crease. Now, if it's a gap play, you're supposed to run that direction. I understand that.
Right.
But if y'all look at the games, go back and look at the games, guys. I guarantee you will see, if you look back to the backside, on the backside blocking, it's a hole there. Huge. Matter of fact,
Mhm.
the what's the walk on that just got hurt, got the concussion? What's
Colin
his name,
Page.
Steve?
He
Who?
hit it.
Colin Page.
Colin
He
Page.
He
He hit it.
hit the cutback.
Yeah,
He
he
went
did.
inside, guys, and he cut back. And guess what? He had nothing but daylight on the sideline, and it was an explosive run. So the lanes are there. And guys, I'm just nitpicking, guys. Hey, we made it to that creme de la creme. We can nitpick small stuff. But other than that, man, I'm telling y'all, the lanes are there. The offensive line's doing a great job. And we're not getting blown off the ball like I used to see in past years. They're not getting hit in the backfield. That's what you don't want. I remember when B. John, remember this, Steve, when B. John used to get the ball and he was dodging defensive tackles in the backfield, and then he would take off for 30 yards. B. John was special. We're not seeing that. Jonathan Brooks them is off to the races. And one more thing, and I got to give my boy Gio and Statmaster, they props on this when they recognize this. And appreciate the Statmaster, Adrian. Um, they're overrunning their blocking. When they pull, the holes are there, Steve. And I'm looking, I was talking to Simp about this the other day. When the guard and the tackle's pulling, they get in the ball, they're seeing a hole and it's open, but they're overrunning. They're not patient. Most of your great running backs in the history of college football and NFL were very patient runners. Think Curtis Morton. What's the brother that played for the Steelers? One of the most patient runners of all time.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. Jonathan Brooks and B. John was exceptional with that as well. Now, I'm not making a comparison, guys. I'm just trying to show y'all the difference. And what you do when those guards pull, you got to let them get out in front of you and let them set your blocks up. And once they do, then you'll just be able to break off of whatever they hit. You cut off of that, bro, and then you'll get big explosive plays. So to me, guys, and look, I'm open for discussion. I'm not saying I know this and know that. I'm just telling y'all what I seen as a little film junkie, like to watch it and play
Watch
the
it
running
film.
back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If they get a little more patient, and I believe Choice is probably the best. I'm gonna stay up say the best running back coach. If I see it, guys, I know Choice see it, and I know Choice is going to coach them guys through. But other than that, man, just being a nitpicker, bro, this team, especially when my man Quinn is in there, nothing against Arch, but when Quinn was in the game, man, I think Quinn was throwing like 70 something percent. It was a ridiculous number. They was just marching up and down the field with no problem. And guess what? I think he only threw like 3 deep passes. That used to be Quinn's problem in the past. He threw the deep pass too much. He wanted the long ball. Chiggs dig the long ball. Now, if y'all look at it, he's methodically moving the sticks up and down. And guess what? That forces everybody. Now, yeah, the deep pass is you take it when it's there. Don't get me wrong. You take that deep pass when it's there. But when you got that threat and you and one more thing too, he's seeing the field because Gunnar Ham, before Quinn got hurt, was leading us in receptions. Most of the time, guys, he wasn't the first or second option. He was the third option on the
Mm-hmm.
routes. Quinn, that tells you Quinn is scanning the field. He's going through his progressions. Quinn used to be called, and look, this is not nobody doesn't know that. Quinn used to be called a one-read quarterback. He used to be called that, but not this year. Man, he is looking, he's going deep, middle, boom. He's hitting Gunner across the middle. Now, I can't officially say that Gunner is the third option on everything, but we know you're going to always look for those 2 outside receivers first, maybe the slot, then you're going to go to Gunner. Man, Quinn is doing his thing, bro. Hats off to him. And look, hats off to Arch too, because Arch is Arch. He's drawing eyeballs to the University of Texas. Man, the game before Arch started, bro, he led ESPN. I mean, every day I'm in the gym working out and I look up on the screen on TV. Oh, they talking about the University of Texas, Arch Manning. Guys, that's good for the program. Think about what the recruits are seeing. Man, they loving this. But man, like I say, it's good to be a Longhorn. And I know some gonna say, bro, we ain't played nobody. Let me tell you something. That Michigan defense, you can't never take that away what we did to that Michigan defense. Why? Because that Michigan defense is legit. Now, the Michigan offense, we can debate that all day. And yeah, I agree. They not that good. But did you see what the Michigan defense did to USC, to Lincoln Riley? Lincoln Riley, coach team, who is a great play caller. He wasn't going up and down the field like a Sark coach team and Quinn was doing. So you can miss me with, we ain't played nobody yet. We played a defense, and I still look, that Michigan D line still got 3 potentially first rounders on that D line. And they got Will Johnson play that whole game. So don't tell me, we ain't played nobody. I know, yeah, you UTSA, this and that. But You'll never take away that Michigan defense. And when I seen what they did to Michigan defensive line, how our offensive line stepped up, first thing came to my mind, Simp and Steve, was SEC might be in some trouble because that might be the best D line we face. Now you can argue Georgia and Kentucky could probably be the better. We thought A&M was going to be better, but I don't know if y'all saw A&M's defensive ranking. They ranked in the 50s and 60s. They not looking too good, fellas. Guess what money can buy you sometimes? We bought your defense. It ain't doing too hot. But anyway, that's all I got, man. I'm long-winded. I'm just excited, guys. I love it. It's a good time to be a Longhorn. Hey, you call me sipping the Kool-Aid you want. I just know when my eyes see something, I'm going to run with it. That's all I got, fellas. Appreciate it.
Man, Bashan, I sense the excitement in your voice. And we're going to capitalize on that excitement. Before we get to Chris, it's a good time to plug Autograph. Shout out to Autograph, the official sponsor of Fanatic Perspective, where fans like Bashan, you guys can, parlay that excitement into productivity, right? Getting rewarded for your fandom. As we get better, like Vashawn said, you're at the gym, you're out and about, you're going to work, you want to be immersed in Longhorn content. Whether you're a Longhorn fan, Cowboys play night, whatever you follow, download the Autograph app. It is free. Go to the Google Play Store or Apple Play App Store and download it for free. Use the Fanatic24 promo code. It helps this channel out, and you'll have access to gain loyalty points for everything that you do in the app, which is just consuming content about your team. Oh, and by the way, we're connected as fans in there to where they have special, pricing for fans. It's called True Fan Pricing, as well as opportunities for ticket giveaways, merch giveaways, autograph giveaways, no pun intended, but it's for the fans, and Tom Brady puts it all together, speaking of Michigan. So really excited to be partnered up with Autograph. If you're already on the app, let people know in the comments what you've been enjoying and some of the perks and benefits that you've seen from the Autograph app. Now, Chris, I'm going to just jump over to you, man. I mean, Vashawn said a lot.
It cleaned up.
Sorry, man. I was talking.
I love it.
No.
I love it.
One thing I want to hit on, though, real quick, that you not even about the run in regards to the running game. What you're saying is not. I went full big picture about playoffs and national championship, but what you're saying is applicable to us just improving within SEC play, right? That's applicable to just, hey, as we go along, we should be getting better. We should be able to turn. Right now, Vashawn is saying, hey, you guys are good in the run game. You're not bad. You're good.
Yeah.
You're getting what's blocked for you. You're getting the things you're supposed to get.
Yeah.
But there's opportunity for the chunk plays. There's opportunity for the big plays. Let's go from good to great in that category. So I'm 100% with you, and they should be improving into SEC play as we get on. Chris, take it away, man. What's your takeaways so far, good, bad, and indifferent from non-con?
I mean, I think Vashawn said it all best, honestly. But man, in my opinion, like whenever I was, prepping for the show, I was thinking about, where we need to improve on. And like what me and Vashawn said, I mean, it's like it sounds like we're nitpicking, but literally the running backs is it. Like if you look at where we struggled last year, if you look at red zone offense, I mean, it took me 30 seconds to think about who our kicker was. Bert Auburn, the big redhead kid. Like he is not out there, and the number one reason why we said in the offseason was what is Quinn got to take that next step. Quinn's taking that next step, man. Like if you look, Sark's opened up the playbook. If you look at what Arch and Malik was running compared to what Quinn has been running the last couple of years and the way Quinn's looking now, and I'm not sliding Arch and Malik, those guys are undefeated, filling in for Quinn when he's hurt. But I mean, Quinn does more target to motion. Like basically, like as good as Arch is and as exciting to see him play, that offense that he's running is still limited, and like even though Bubba's not healthy right now, we got to give him his flowers, man. Like he pretty much has solved the red zone issue. I mean, when Cedric Baxter went down, that portion of us running the ball like that into the end zone in the red zone as many times as they did last year is over. I mean, and honestly, it didn't work like it needed to as often either. I think now we're in the situation now with Quinn. I mean, us lining up in the red zone and him finding the guy. If you look at the RPO in the red zone, if you look at the RPO last year in the bowl game against Washington, we had like 4 or 5 batted balls in that situation. Like, I don't want to like just depend on a no look pass, a lot in the red zone. Like, we're going to run that play, but man, you can just see that these guys have literally looked at every weakness they had last year and they fixed it you know not even giving all the offense all the love. If you look at our defense, you can only play who's on your schedule. These guys are literally taking teams like Colorado State, you're taking Michigan, and they're not wanting to. Normally you're throwing to finish the game. A guy like Trey Moore, everyone's talking about, oh, he didn't have a lot of sacks. Well, these teams, Colorado State was like, man, they packed it up in the second quarter and said, you know what, we're good here, we need to be
Yeah.
healthy for the remainder of the year. You're breaking a team's will.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Texas team do that, honestly, since the mid aughts, where they honestly would just a team would just be like, you know what, we're good. We're gonna save this for next time. Um, Talking about one thing that we and like what Vashawn was talking about, one thing we need to get better with, and it is the running backs. You know, they asked Jordan Winnington at the scouting combine what was his favorite play. A lot of wide receivers will come out with this route, option route or whatever, something with the tight end that gets him wide open. His favorite play was duo. Duo is a running play where you take your tight end and your wide receiver, and Winnington was that wide receiver on that end, and they would double the end, and the running back has to have the patience to, after the end is doubled, it's just him and either a safety or a nickel linebacker, like an outside linebacker, just him. It's just you and him, and you're into the races, you know. And on the backside of that, you could run, if that's open, you run inside zone. It's you have your options. If you look at our running backs the last couple of years, whether it's Jonathan Brooks, whether it's Rojo, whether it's Bijan, those guys were patient. Like Vashawn said earlier on, man, Jonathan Brooks would be running and all of a sudden he would just cut back and get another 10, 15, 20 yards in their secondary. I just think our running backs are just a bit impatient. They're seeing that hole and they want to hit it. And, I mean, just with duo and with inside zone, you got to be careful. I mean, you got to be careful. You got to take your time. You can't just, you see a hole, you hit the hole like you did in high school, and then you're in the secondary. But I mean, other than that, that's the only thing we're talking about. We have some time to get that fixed. I mean, we're in the conference play now. We just have to get healthy. But man, like, I'm excited. Like, I mean, it's obviously like, I don't think we're going to be tested in the passing game until the Georgia game, and then maybe Arkansas after that. But I mean, you can only play who's on your
Yep.
schedule. You were making teams left-handed. So
Hey, Chris, can you do me a favor and slide a tick to your right? I believe just a little bit to your or
right.
to the left, to the
Oh, to
left,
what? Gotcha.
just to the left a little bit. There we go. I just wanted to get you
Oh,
centered up
centered up.
because
Got it.
you're starting to drift into Vashan's side of the.
Gotcha. Here, I see what it is now. Anyways, got it. I
Yeah,
got it.
but no, well said, man. I mean, I really think with the backs too. I give them credit. They played. I thought they did a really good job in the Michigan game. With their toughness, running hard, picking up the short yardage stuff. Jared Gibson, especially, they're
Hmm.
learning. Right? They haven't had a lot of that experience, and it's a shorter group. I mean, C.J. Baxter was supposed to be 1A, 1B with Jaden Blue. And then
Yeah.
Jaden, I think it's one of those things too, though, where because of what's been asked of them so early, that's going to be a big strength of ours down the stretch of the season as well. Because they're also very much involved in the pass game as always. And there's a lot we still haven't seen. We haven't seen any of the Keelan Robinson diamond formation stuff that we did last year. There's
He
a lot
holding
left
back.
in
You
the
know
bag.
he is. You know he holding back. You know he is. There's a lot of stuff we ain't seen, guys. I don't know if
Yeah.
y'all know. So I got a whole playbook waiting over there. Okay, now I pull that out.
That's the fun part is
Yeah.
beating the crap out of people with your base offense. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. You're right, bro. You're right.
You know, I mean, did we do a trick play against Michigan? Normally we have something where we
Yeah,
do like,
Yeah.
Worthy threw a pass last year or
yeah,
something like a end around or whatever. Like we've been pretty we're playing people straight up. We
yep,
really are. Because what we are is, like you said, a zone team. We're a screen team. We're always a big time screen team. And now, when Arch is in there, especially, we also can get vertical on you.
yeah.
However you want it, we're playing to space. So it's been really fun watching these guys execute. I think that's been the theme, execution.
Mhm.
Regardless of what we call, we're going to execute, or Quinn is going to get us into the right player, into the right look, which is why we're so efficient in the red zone. Unbelievable job by those guys. My only nitpick is actually on the defensive side of the ball. And in terms of the interior line, I think they've been good. And I'm looking at some of the, I have a Pro Football Focus, for example, and some guys have gotten better over some games. I mean, Ethan Burke I thought he finally had a good game against ULM. He had been a little
Yeah.
slow to start the season. Lole had a better game against ULM, but I want to see a little bit more disruption. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the edges. I know the sack totals aren't there per se, but the pressure is. And honestly, to Chris's point, Chris, you said it best. People are folding. People are intimidated. And I'm seeing a lot
Mhm.
of quarterbacks sprint to the sideline for safety and throw the ball away or try to do something. Like they're literally bailing from the pocket. So you're not going to get sacks when people are just scared like that and not even running their offense,
You're right.
right? Like I do think those numbers will come in conference play when we play a little bit more mature offenses, especially, Georgia.
Yeah.
Something we will eventually face. Those numbers should get there because I do think we're good. We're much improved in coverage. I'm actually excited to see us against the conceptually against Mississippi State and Levy, trying to go tempo, trying to introduce chaos, whatever he can do in bear and shoot. Um, Simp, I know you know probably a little bit more about Chris Parson from his time at Duncanville and Red Oak, but I mean the brother has a very heavy burden in front of him this weekend. I
Mhm.
should say
Yeah.
them losing Blake Shapen is big because that was probably the most efficient part of their team. They
Yeah.
have some good receivers. Kevin Coleman, for those who don't remember him, that went to
Yeah.
Jackson State, Louisville, and he's been very explosive. But they're starting to have guys opt out, and their defense is horrible. So they're really, really putting a lot of pressure on their offense to score a lot of points, and they couldn't keep up with Florida last week. They tried, but they couldn't keep up with Florida. Florida completed damn near every pass. They
They're like
were
26 or 28 passing in that game.
like that's that's a heavy burden for Mississippi State coming in. Vashawn, I know you had some notes or observations about the game coming up this weekend. If we want to touch on that real quick, and if you even want to talk about our quarterback situation as well.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Mississippi State's a bad team, man. I don't know other way I can say this, guys. They're not a very good team. I think they ranked 118th in total defense, like y'all just heard with Florida. Florida went up and down the field, completing passes left and right. With that being said, who do we start? Do we start Quinn? Do we start Arch? We can win with both. We probably can throw Trey Moore out there and win. I'm just being real because the team is just you can win so many phases. That just shows the completeness. We have now come full circle. We can win running, passing, defense. Pick one. Special teams. Pick a way you want to lose. We can do it. But I will say this: them being a bad team, you start Quinn if he's 100%. I even say if he's 95%, let him go a quarter or two. Get up to what I'm trying to say is, guys, let him knock the rust off. But if he's anything less than 95%, of course, you want to sit him for another 2 weeks. Now, y'all got to remember this. We play OU in 2 weeks, not next week. He hasn't played since the first quarter of UTSA. Game time reps, real live reps are important. I just want him hitting on all cylinders. Now, some might say, and you know they're going to say this, saying, well, he did it against OU in 2022, 49-0. But this OU team is different. They're bad offensively, but they are not bad defensively. And I know some of y'all, oh, you got to be crazy. No, they are pretty good defensively, guys. Look at, Dominic Williams. I saw somebody sent me a tape of the D tackle that we was trying to get. Bro, them Tennessee offensive linemen, they couldn't handle him. He was throwing them around. Now, the rest of the guys, but the point I'm making is let Quinn get him a little first quarter. Only if, guys, I'm saying if he's healthy, 95%, I'm going just that little 5%. Because stomach, abdomen, whatever, it can be tricky. What we do not want. Because I saw somebody says, oh, Sark only going to play him to, keep him in the Heisman race. Now, Sark not going to risk that, because if Quinn gets hurt, guys, he could be out 4 to 6 weeks. And then that's the meat of our SEC schedule. We can still win with Arch, but it just looks different. A 3-year quarterback in Sark's system is totally different than a 2-year quarterback. Quinn is way better than he was last year in year 2 in Sark's system. We've never seen, we're in unknown territory, guys. A 3-year quarterback, and you can see it developing in front of your eyes, because like we just talked about, he's scanning the field. He drops back. He's throwing, Vince even talked about it. Quinn out there throwing no looks, man. No look RPOs. That just shows you the level of confidence. He knows where his receivers are at. He's confident in his arm, and that's why we're seeing the red zone offensive touchdowns, passes, because he's so confident. So we need him, especially for Georgia and OU. And I want to put a spanking on OU. I know y'all do. We owe them one. We owe them a big one. But I'm not saying we can't win without Arch either, because we can. And Arch I heard this Simp the other day. Garrett Gilbert in the 2009 championship game, Steve. Colt gets hurt. Colt played the whole year pretty much. Colt gets hurt. Garrett comes in. He didn't have the playing time experience that Arch is getting. So Arch is going to be ready.
Arch has already played more than Garrett did that whole season.
Yeah. Arch has already played more than Garrett Gilbert did in the 2009. So if something, God forbid, was to happen to Quinn, we got Arch ready. And that's the beauty, guys, of having blowouts. Everybody gets to play. Everybody gets to play. And it also hurts the defensive stats. And, I heard some, Trey Moore and all of them ain't getting the stats. Well, man, they sitting down by the third quarter. They chilling. Colin Simmons coming in, what he get to do, Steve? He just get to rush the passer. The team already down. They down 40 points. So guess what happened? I'm just going to pin my ears back and run and rush the passer. So that's the beauty of having these blowouts. Good teams. Well, let me rephrase that. Championship teams don't play with their food. That's the motto, guys. Championship teams don't play with their food. They devour it, get rid of it, and that's what we've been doing. So I say Quinn 95% play him. We gonna and if anything else, let Arch do his thing. Trey gonna get him some run, and hey, I still say we're gonna whip them boys. I ain't even gonna give a prediction yet, but we still probably beat them by 4 or 5 touchdowns, regardless whoever. I mean, they're just a bad team. But it'll be a beautiful win being the first game in the SEC. This is going to be historical. The very first game in the SEC. I know DKR is going to be rocking. That's all I
It's going
got.
to be interesting with the point spread. Texas, I believe, is the second largest spread of any SEC game ever. And if Texas covers that, which I think they can and should, that alone, right? Historically, since our first SEC game, we were, that's how we came into the conference, right? So, regardless of Arch is going to play regardless, whether Quinn plays or not. Arch is going to play a lot on
Yeah.
Saturday. That's my expectation. I think for Quinn, there's multiple ways looking at it, and I've talked about this all week on Bleach Report everywhere. But for him, there's I also want him to get rid of this stigma, and it's not going to be all at once, but over time. But also mentally for him, just knowing he's a football player, and if he's healthy and he's fine,
Yeah.
It's a boy.
you should be able to go out on the field, make good decisions, and protect yourself,
That's
especially
right.
against a team like this, right? And I know there's also, some stuff about Mississippi State being a team that likes to take some cheap shots and things like that. They're already one of the lower ranked, worst pass rushes, and so they could sell out and all those type of things. But that's more to me if you are out there showing that you know how to take care of yourself
Yeah.
and stay.
Over here, guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I don't know. Okay. We lost
you
Steve.
got it.
You can hear, you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Okay. So what you think, Simp? What do
man.
you think
Honestly,
going into this game?
okay, man. Honestly, with Quinn, I agree with you about the 95% part, but I'm not as concerned about him, about the OU game, about his rust, because I
Hmm.
mean, we saw the TCU game last year where he came back in and he didn't play for a couple of weeks. I mean, I was sitting right there. Yeah, he didn't have all of his arm strength, but he was fine. He had a pocket presence about him. Texas was able to run 95% of their offense. The only
Yeah.
thing, I mean, a couple of those deep balls were a little short because he had the injury or whatever. But I mean, other than that, I mean, he's going to be fine. I just, especially when you have that extra week before Oklahoma, I'm all about getting him 100% healthy. Like
Yeah.
as great as Arch is, and Arch is the future. Like if Quinn is healthy, we have a chance to go as far as we want to go. And I
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I mean, it's good to, and I do agree with Steve. He needs to play. He's a football player, and there's scouts that are probably saying, why is this guy hurt all the time? But like, I'm not right now. I'm not really caring about those scouts. I'm caring about where Quinn is. I think
Yeah,
Quinn trusts Sark right now to where he won't rush himself back to get out there to save his job. I think he knows that Sark believes in him, and Sark knows he's that guy. And I just don't think he's going to go out here and try to rush himself. He's going to make sure, he's 100% healthy because, I mean, the eyes on the prize, man. He gives us our best chance, to win a national championship, in this offense. He can run every portion of the offense. Like I said earlier, where Arch isn't quite doing target to motion quite yet. With Quinn, you can go empty backfield. You can go, 20 personnel. You can go 11 personnel. Three receivers. You can do anything you want with him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I mean, either way, like if he is healthy, you're talking about firing up that team. They don't need it. It's Mississippi State, but still, you still want to make a statement. And like Quinn said, we're going to get everybody's best. We're Texas. We're going to get everybody's. Like we thought we were leaving the Big 12 where everybody hate us and going to the SEC where all these big dogs. Oh no, dude, everybody's still doing the horns down.
Yeah.
I love that mentality. I love being, the villain in this, man. I love that four horsemen type, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole, and, Tully Blanchard type attitude that it looks like we're playing with. We're not, like you said, man, we're not playing with our food at all. Like let's like the starters and The second guys are just pretty much like, hey man, like let's get these guys done. Let's get these young guys in and let these guys all, you know, let's let these all guys all get experience. You know, I mean, but yeah, we're not playing with our food, man.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, bro. And this, I wanted to see guys. In the past,
Yeah.
guys, what has been Texas mentality? Play big in big
Mm-hmm.
games
Mm-hmm.
and play up to lower level competition. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, we would play literally like, 2, 3 point game, but we
Wyoming
would,
last year, you
yeah,
know.
Wyoming, even I think even the Rice game was
Yeah.
close. We pulled
It's
away,
close
but
for a
it could have been
while.
worse. Yeah, we wasn't executing. Let me say like that.
Right.
This team seems like they hit their stride early. They're executing, and then I was really watching how they played against lower level teams. Because good teams, championship teams, they just put them teams away, man.
Yeah.
But I want to answer Xavier question on here. I don't know if you see it, Sam, because it's an interesting question, guys. He says, "Do you want Georgia to win this weekend?" Let me answer this question in this way. And I want you guys, I just thought about this. And y'all correct me if, I'm just my opinion. I'm sharing my opinion with y'all. We was waiting on Steve. Um, what's harder to win? To me, beating a team twice. So this is my point. If Georgia loses, and I'm on the record saying it really don't matter because
Okay.
Texas control his own destiny anyway.
Yep.
But I'm thinking ahead, and God forbid, I know everything's one game at a time, guys. Don't jump down my throat. I know we all do one game at a time, but just hindsight, thinking ahead. You beat Georgia at home, and I'm not saying Texas is scared of Georgia, but I'd rather play another opponent in the SEC championship game. I'd rather play an Alabama or Ole Miss is good too. I ain't gonna lie to you, but
Ole
the
Miss is
reason I'm
scary.
saying that is because the odds, it's just odds, facts, stats. Odds beating teams twice are so hard because they seen each other. It can happen. Don't get me wrong. Washington, I think, didn't Washington beat Oregon twice?
Yeah.
It can happen, guys. But I'm just saying. So me, preferably, because I'm only thinking from Texas' point of view. I'm always thinking about what benefits Texas the most.
Yeah.
Not, oh, we ain't scared of nobody. I'm just saying, Georgia lose, we beat Georgia again. That
Mhm.
gives them 2 losses. The odds of them making it back to the SEC championship are very hard. Now they can go on, they can win, they can run the table and be
Right.
10-2 and
Right.
still make it because Alabama, Ole Miss, all of them got to see each other. Tennessee is
Yeah.
a threat. Man,
They
there's
get
some
Tennessee
teams.
too, right?
Yeah, you got Tennessee, you got Ole
Yeah.
Miss, you got Texas, of course,
Yeah.
and then Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah.
But hey, I saw somebody to mention, hey man, we better not overlook Vanderbilt. You're exactly right, bro. And championship teams, brother, who said that, do not overlook. They don't overlook nobody. And that's the thing that I think is different this year. I think this team is mentally tough, mentally prepared, and
Hmm.
they're not gonna allow anybody to
Hmm.
they're not gonna overlook anybody. What's your thoughts on it, Simp?
Man,
What you like?
personally, with Georgia, Alabama this weekend, man, Georgia is so beat up. You know, obviously, Ra Thomas is out for the season. The wide receiver, they just had another wide receiver that's out for the game. Georgia's beat up, you know, and it's not just wide receiver. They're beat up at linebacker. They're beat up at a lot of other spots.
Yeah.
Um, this might not be their year. I mean,
Right.
you know, they haven't lost a game yet. I'd rather them win because I'd like to see one against two. But again, like they're not our SEC friends aren't going to give us any excuses. We're not going to let them change the ground on everything. Make it. Oh, y'all had the weaker schedule. Y'all had this. Y'all had that. We didn't know these teams were going to be where they were at that time. You know. Um, I'm not gonna lie, like once Kalen DeBoer gets his quarterback, I don't know if Milrow will ever be comfortable in that system, but I still kind of fear DeBoer a little bit. But I'll tell you the team that I'm scared of, and I would say I'm scared of. I take that back. But the team that really gives me a little anxiety, and the reason why I have a little confidence against this team, believe it or not, is their head coach. Because Lane is a little as great of a mind he is, like I like the Sark Lane matchup better than I like the Sark DeBoer matchup. But
Hmm.
man, Ole Miss is stacked, man. Like they
Oh,
are. I mean, it's I mean, Jackson Dart is run. I mean, Lane Kiffin has his quarterback, running around now. I'm sure they
yeah,
hadn't done it in big games, but I'm sure once they have a big enough game, you're going to see Jackson Dart with 12, 13 rushing attempts in a game, despite
yes.
what he does in the passing game. They got Prince. What's his last name? The guy from Florida that we always wanted. Prince from Austin. Prince, you
Prince,
humiliating.
you,
What's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Princely.
yeah, yeah. I saw
Let's
that. I
just call
saw a
him
PFF
Princely.
number. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they got
good.
him. They got
Yeah,
Walter Nolan,
yeah.
who should be in a Longhorn uniform right now. I'm not going to even get that. I'm not
Bo
talking about
Davis,
Bo
Bo
Davis.
Davis. Y'all gonna thank Bo
I'm
Davis for
not
that.
looking back. I'm not turning into a pillar of salt. I'm moving. I'm keeping my head forward. We're 4-0. We're undefeated. But man, those guys are stacked. So I mean, if Georgia's playing with their food, if we can handle Georgia, they may have more than they may have two losses or more than two losses. By the end of the year. Um,
Yeah,
Beat a team twice in a year is hard. It is, but sometimes you might have their number. Georgia's got so much going on. I'm not gonna sit here like I know there's Georgia fans in these SEC groups. If they're seeing this,
hmm,
my name is probably Mud, and that's fine. But I mean,
yeah,
honestly, like I like our matchup against Georgia this year, man. I just don't see the offensive playmakers that we saw, without, Ladd and with the Mackey Award winning tight end that went in the first round of the Raiders. I just don't see them, no Ra Ra Thomas, I mean, I just don't. I mean, they got the transfer from Vanderbilt. But I just don't see. I like what our secondary. I think the best thing, a very underrated move that happened over the offseason is when Sark, and not only Sark, I'm sorry, but Johnny Nansen, PK, and everybody else decided that they wanted Jalen Gilbo and Jade Barron on the field at the same time. Like,
yeah,
I just think our secondary is just, it's, I mean, it's, I can't, I want to see us get tested, like I said earlier on. I think, like I said, we got Georgia, we got coming up, we got Arkansas coming up. Those teams look like they can be able to do that, in the secondary. But bro, like this may be our year, man. We're not playing with our food. Like
yeah.
there's no coverage talk. There's no, I mean, these guys can play cover four. They can play man. They can go to the three high safety look. You know, I mean, Andrew Mukuba's playing so well next to Taft. Taft doesn't have to go out and tell guys where to be. You're able to see. I mean, everybody's fitting their role. And
Yes.
yeah, and I'll admit, I wasn't. I always thought that somebody was going to start over Taft Daddy. Man, like I told you like a week or two ago, dude, the difference between Michael Taft and a lot of these players. And I'm not going to name any safeties, but we just had lost some safeties that hit the portal. One was a 4-star safety with so much talent, great on special teams, man. Like I said, I'm not here to throw any kids under the bus, but like I told you last week, the difference between Taft and a guy like that with all that talent, Taft has a purpose. He plays with a purpose. And I mean, he's literally just given Derek Williams more time. I mean, Derek Williams will get in, Jelani will get in, but right now, man, I just feel so comfortable with Taft and Makuba back there at the same time. You know,
Gotcha.
I just that's just wow. I mean, yeah, we're not seeing the turnover like the interceptions coming in abundance yet. The
Hmm.
turnovers, the sacks coming in abundance. Because, like I said, man, we're breaking teams' will. Just give it time. There's going to be some games where we're going to get tested. We're going to get tested, and
Oh
I
yeah, most
think we're
definitely.
going to prevail.
Yeah, most definitely. So just to answer a few questions. I think Vic asked a question. What is Georgia defensive rank so far? Victor, number 4, right above Texas. Texas is number 5.
Yep.
Uh, Georgia does have a good win against Kentucky. I ain't gonna say a good one. We don't
Yeah.
know, but Mr. Football, of course, yeah. Nobody really. If you want to say we ain't played nobody, you can say that. But I will say this, Mr. Football, Michigan defense. I'm not talking about Michigan's offense. Was a good team
Hmm.
defensively. They're still a good team, as we saw what they did to Mr. Lincoln Riley and USC's offense, or whatever the case, with pretty much no passing game, uh, but just pretty much a running game. They was, and a defense, and they won. So I'm not gonna discount that. But I mean, all we can do is play who we can play.
Hmm.
And the flip side of that, guys, the flip side of that is if we was only it, and this is Texas fans, guys. Remember I told you we can be winning 70-3. Guys gonna come on and say, "Oh, well, we ain't did this, we ain't did that," and you can throw that argument out there. But on the flip side, if we played our schedule and we was only winning by 35-10,
Hmm.
then you really got a problem because you're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, hold on, we're not why we're not blowing these teams out. And another flip side on that football, if you're saying we're not looking as sharp in the second half as we were in the first half, maybe a little sloppy. I mean, I can't deny that. Some plays, hey, if Sark wants to take his foot off the gas, we want to play more. But if you look, we're playing more players. Man, we're getting down to our third stringers in the third and fourth quarters. That's good, man, and that's good. And
Yeah.
they're getting more reps, and we still been pretty much very vanilla on offense. We haven't showed a lot now. Yeah, we did do somebody mentioned the Wingo reverse. Yeah, that
Mm.
was a little trickery. But y'all
Yeah.
know good and well, so I got more. So
Yeah.
the answer to that other question that you had, let's check game 5 and 6 when team had more film on us. Well, what about them? See, we always talking about ourselves. So when we start playing the Kentuckies, oh, they got more film on Saul. Well, we got more film on Kentucky. We know what they do well.
Yeah.
We know, you know what I'm saying? We know how to defend Kentucky because we got 5-6 games on them, and then we know how to score on Kentucky because we got more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It goes both ways, but what's going to come down to it? What's going to boil down to it is you're going to execute X's and O's. Of course, being healthy, deeper teams usually win. As you look across the country, everybody's getting beat up. I mean, I looked at ours today, our our injury report. I mean, it's a nice one, it's nice size,
Mhm.
but Mississippi State's was ridiculous. And now, guys, I don't know if y'all paying attention what's going on in college football with all of these opt-outs. It's I think Mississippi State just had some people just opt out, and then
Yeah.
guess what? Guys, they just like flat out sitting out games now because they like, nah, I'm cool. I'm gonna go ahead and keep my red shirt because you can't play 4 games. You play 4 games, you burn a year. Guys
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm just wait till another team get me. So let's talk about that as we waiting on Steve, guys. Steve is coming back, guys.
I
Sorry if
want to answer. I want to
yeah.
answer one of Vince Brown's questions. He said, "Who do you think is calling the plays on defense? Is it PK or is it Nansen?" I'd like to take that if you don't mind.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead,
I
you got it.
think PK is doing a heck of a job, man. I mean, obviously, me and you have been PK fans. Slick Vic has been a PK fan. Like we have from day one. The first year was kind of rough, but it's rough for him, and because it takes his defenses takes a while for people to pick up. You know, year two, 2022, those guys were amazing. You went from getting zero guys drafted, to getting the defensive lineman drafted on PK's defense. I think what Nansen does is, I think for the first time since PK's been here, he's got someone, even though Nansen is a linebackers coach,
Mm-hmm.
Vince, I think that Nansen has brought together that secondary because I think he pretty much coaches the back seven or eight, depending on how many defensive linemen are in. And I think the coverages are finally matching what PK is doing up front. And man, like that's why we're so excited. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing. You know,
Yeah.
I think Gary Patterson did a good job of, when he came in helping out a little bit and doing the best he could with the secondary and helping DK out. But having a guy like Manson in here right now, man, like it's just, oh, like that, like you and I were talking about the other day.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing that happens with success is obviously winning and winning the ultimate time, but then also losing coaches, and
Yeah.
man, like we're talking about putting money in the NIL and in these players. Honestly, man, a guy like Johnny Nanton is just as valuable as any player we have on this roster. I mean,
Yes.
and I mean that, like literally,
Yes.
man. He is opening you up. Dude, Leona Lafau. What did I ask you the other day? How do we get him and Anthony Hill on the field at the same time? And man, next year, LaFau might be your middle linebacker. I would let Anthony Hill just come in and just, wherever you see, you play. You free will. Man, Leona LaFau is holding it down at middle linebacker, man.
Yep.
Um, one name that I haven't heard in a while, and he's a linebacker. He's my favorite, but it's Darian Gillette. I don't know where he's at. I want to see him. We're seeing the freshmen come in, and step up, and Gillette's helping the team. He's helping out at running back too. But like, Ty Anthony Smith, man, that guy's a dog, man.
He's playing. He's
He's
playing a
playing.
lot. Yeah,
He's
he's
playing.
playing. Yeah.
And I hope a guy like Gillette doesn't get discouraged. I hope he takes his time. And, he was coming off a major catastrophic injury, and for a guy with his skill set, his size, and his speed, it's going to
Yeah.
take him a while to get back to where he needs to get. I just hope he doesn't feel discouraged by all the other guys coming up, stepping up, making plays, and feel like he's behind. Because, I mean, he's not. Like, he is. Like, I mean, dude, we're gonna need that guy in the next couple of years. But other than that, though, man, like I like what Leona Lafau, like we thought linebacker was gonna be a weakness this year. We thought, we can't have one injury there. Man, now like we're literally like it's a strength of the team, and I mean it's just Johnny Nansen, big time.
Hey, every time Sark makes another hire, guys, the hire gets better and better and better when we lose somebody on the staff. And you continue to see the guys getting coached up. C note, I'm gonna bring up some. C note says is Colin Simmons taking someone's reps? Yeah, I believe he is. Finkley, but let me say it like this, guys. This is the sign. This is something. This is the sign of a healthy team. I've been a Texas Longhorn fan since 1989, maybe longer than that.
Yeah,
I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. And we just come out of a 12 years, 13 years purgatory,
yeah,
where we were just bad and average. We got to a point we were so average and bad, guys. Every year, all we had forward to look to was recruiting rankings. Oh yeah, I can't wait till this freshman get on the field next year. But the sign of healthy teams, the sign of a healthy program, let me say that. A sign of a healthy program is the Georgias, the Alabamas during that purgatory years, even Clemson when they was good, was you don't have to depend on true freshmen
freshman,
to play
preach,
early.
preach.
But the true freshmen that were special, C note, and they had some special ones come up, even at
Mhm,
Alabama, that was true freshmen, forced their way on the field. And that's my point I'm getting with Colin Simmons.
mhm,
Colin Simmons is just too good. He's forcing his way onto the field based
mhm.
on his talent, not out of, well, we ain't got nobody at edge. We got to play him. That's the difference. See, Kelvin Banks had to play left tackle as a true freshman.
Yep.
Why? We didn't have no left tackles.
Yeah.
We didn't have nobody. He
Yeah.
was the only option. Now we to a place, guys. We got Gooseby coming up. We got so much
Yeah.
guys sitting and waiting True freshman, Michael Fasauci, whatever you want to pronounce your name, going to Oklahoma, guys don't
Susie.
want to come here and sit down and wait. They like,
Right. No, not at all.
I ain't going over there. And in
No.
Texas, like, why would I pay a guy NIL, even though
For him
he's
to
a
sit for
5-star,
years.
to
Yeah.
sit 2 years? And we got
750
two, three,
grand to
we
be.
got all of these guys
Yeah.
that's coming right behind Kelvin Banks. That's why I say the train gonna keep rolling, guys.
Yeah.
We have gotten to that point. Now, Mr. Football, because I know who you is, and me and you gonna talk later. I can say this. We haven't seen all that Texas is capable of doing. We haven't. And yes, I agree. Texas hadn't been forced to really play out the box yet. Nobody has forced us to do that. But how can we say we're not going to be good at that if we haven't seen nobody do it yet?
Yeah.
Nor can I, in the same argument, say we're going to be excellent at it. Nobody's saying that, but all we're going to say is this. Just like boxing, styles make fights.
Mm-hmm.
When we was in the Big 12, the way to beat Texas was what? Vince, simp, spread Texas out.
Yep.
Don't run at them big D tackles. Go at their safeties.
Yep.
Go at their safeties. Go at the corners. I ain't calling no names. Go deep. We know some people, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna call no
Yeah.
names.
Yeah. I'm
Water
happy
under
for
the
him.
bridge. We're not gonna
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
But I will say this in 4 games. Johnny Barron, Muhammad has barely been tested, guys.
Yeah.
Barely been tested because they're not open. And then you got Makuba, who's a 3-year player. You got Taft Daddy, aka White Chocolate, Taft Daddy back there. He doing his
Mookie.
thing. And guess what, guys? Let me tell you how talented we are. Let's talk about this for a minute. I like facts. I don't like opinions.
Yeah.
Derek Williams is the backup.
Yeah.
He's the backup, Vince.
Yeah.
Jelani McDonald is the backup.
Yeah. This is giving me '05 vibes, man, when you had
Don't
Aaron
tell me
Ross
this
backing up
secondary
Terrell
ain't
Brown.
good. Oh man, we ain't been challenged. We ain't been tested.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how I know we good. Because when my eyes see what it sees, when a quarterback drops back, Vince, and he does this, and he dumps it down, Vince. His first option to dump it down. Guess what he just did, Vince? And that's my boy Vince, y'all. I'm not talking to Vince. He
Yeah.
just
It's our
looked over
brother.
the whole field, Vince. Nobody's open. Guess what he does, Vince? He throws it into the flats. He throws it into the Now, look, have we given up some long runs? Have we? Thank you, Vic. We got a 5-star me as a backup, guys. That's
Yep.
the talent Texas got in the secondary. That's the talent. In the past, me would have been on the
He's
field
starting.
first.
Yeah.
He would have been starting because we had nobody. Oh, well, we might as well play me, man.
Yeah.
No, we
EJ
can
Foster,
afford to
Caden
send
Stearns in
him and let him
2018,
develop.
man.
That's the sign of a team that's
Yep.
healthy, guys. Hey, if we lose, we lose. Mr. Football, this is the point, though, guys. This is the point. Everybody's playing everybody now in the SEC. Ain't no more cupcakes. This is the first time Georgia, Mr. Football, played Alabama in 8 years. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
So it's going to be a team in the SEC championship, probably with 1 or 2 losses. Easily. Thank you, Jonathan. Wardell Mack. The 2D concept isn't really the
Yeah.
same anymore. The deep.
Toby
Yep.
Black. Yeah.
So, and another thing. Now, we talked about somebody mentioned the D-line. I think Vince or somebody. Is it as talented as last year? No. Because we see them 2 studs in NFL wrecking shop. But what it is, Simp, and I'm gonna go to Nansen. I'm gonna make my point, Nansen, and I'll let you have it. Nansen has brought over some defenses we have never ran. So
Mhm.
he's running Tampa 2. They even brought a 3 high. I guess
Yep.
Sark say, hey, you can't beat them, join them. We're
Yep.
running 3 high. Rod B, y'all can thank Rod B for doing that stat. When we're third and long, we run the 3 high defense, and all I see is the quarterback doing this, Vince. Dump off
Yep.
every time. Dump off every time. Because what we sucked at was the middle of the defense. Y'all know that. Inside breaking route. Houston Cougars tore us up last year. Tore us off the ball. Off the bone. You're not seeing that this year. You're seeing dump offs. You're seeing dump offs. How many times they went deep against us, guys? Think about this for a minute.
They tried a flea flicker last game. I mean, I don't get that play call at all. Like you're down, like Sark's pretty much just throwing up the flag for you. You know, he's got walk on running backs in, and these guys try a flea flicker in the fourth quarter. And man, was it Cole? I mean, wow, what a play. What a play. All these guys
Yeah.
are ready, man. I mean, I don't want an injury at all. I want us to stay healthy. But if we do, I mean, if something happens, I mean, I in that secondary, I feel good. Corner, safety, nickel. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like we're stacked. You
Yeah.
know, we're not having to play these 5-star freshmen Phil Simi. You know, BJ Foster and Caden Stern started in 2018. We had it. Well, it was a 10 win. It was a 10-win team.
Yeah.
This is 2024. We've got Derek Williams. We've got Phil Simi. You know, we got McDonald backing up. They're not even playing right now because Mancuba and Taff are holding it down.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. I mean, Trey Moore's playing amazing. Like I said earlier on, he's going to get his chance.
He
You
gonna get
know,
his chance. Yeah.
he's going to get his chance. But also, I like the fact that it shows where we are as a team, where a guy like Trey Moore comes in, plays great. He's not playing bad at all. He's going to get his chance. There's going to be teams that are going to be throwing, but you have guys that are already here that are still, he's not on the field 70-80% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like we have talent. Like you're not just going to come in and get in the portal and go to Texas and start. You know, us being moderators on Unfiltered, Rashawn, it's so funny when Texas, when we needed a pass rusher, anytime, a pass rusher visits Texas, that's, a recruit, or a defensive tackle enters the portal, there's like 300 likes on that thing. Everybody's just wants to get in the portal and find that next guy. Man, I don't think, besides maybe occasionally wide receiver, I don't see a position, and obviously defensive line just because of the experience you need. But I don't really see a position in the next couple of years where we need to hit heavy in the portal. If you're in the portal, unless you're a wide receiver, why would you come to Texas? You might play. I mean, you might come for the culture, but I mean, there's so much talent on this team, man. Like just because you're a big time player, now, I mean, would I like to have Walter Nolan? Yeah, that would have been
Mhm.
great. You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, other than that, though, man, like we're Sark is built. Sark and company's figuring it out, man. They're building something. Like we're freshmen and transfers aren't necessarily getting in and playing like we've been saying. What is
Yeah.
Mr. Football saying? I'm still going at safeties. I'm still attacking linebackers and pass coverage.
I
They
got I
won't be
got it. I
tested.
got it. I got Mr. Football. I know who Mr. Football is. So
Yeah,
let me ask you this, Mr. Football. Let me ask you this. Everything you saying is hypothetical, right?
yeah.
Nobody has done it yet. Why? This is not college football. You playing PS5. Yeah, I'm still going. And yeah, if you was an OC, you probably would. But it's
Yeah,
a reason. It's a reason. Vince, tell them why they dumping off in the flats. We're
there's
looking at
nobody
quarterback
open.
scanning. We're looking at quarterback scanning the field. They're doing this now. Okay, yeah, we ain't played nobody. We ain't played no top quarterback. We still making them look average. They still. I mean, it's to the point they're not even attempting to pass. So I mean, if they're not gonna test our safeties or test our linebackers, oh well. And look, and I'm not sitting here saying Texas defense don't have weaknesses. Every defense has a weakness. Georgia just got what did Kentucky run on Georgia?
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me Georgia trash because they let Kentucky run the ball down their throat? No, I'm not gonna sit up here and call Georgia trash. But what I'm saying is what's good for the gander got to be good for the goose. We sit up here and talk about what Texas ain't doing, what they can't do, but then when we talk about another team, oh, we point out all their beautiful things. Oh, what they doing, this and that, and this. Now, nobody said Filsimi. You saying Filsimi can't cover. Have we seen him? We ain't seen him. We just saying we got a
We
five-star
haven't
sitting on the
needed.
bench.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. It's a five-star sitting on the bench. He would have forced his way on the field in years past because we wouldn't have had nobody out of necessity. Now we can afford to sit guys down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and thank you, Vic. And also, I like that Ramon. Why they're not being tested because we take away what you do best. And all we're doing, guys, is talking about the first 4 games.
Yep.
That's it. That's all we've seen. All we can go off is the eyeball test.
Yeah.
We just go off the eyeball test. Yeah. So, is what it is.
Yeah.
Shep, you got anything else? As Vic says, feels to be on the bench learning where he should be. Thank you, Vic.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Where
Yeah.
he should be. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I just want to close with, man, we got to stay healthy. We got to get that running back room healthy. We got to keep Quinn upright. We got to keep our quarterbacks upright.
Yeah.
This has a chance to be special. I mean, a lot of people put the season in 4 game segments. The first, four, I'll give us an A minus, A, you know, um, I mean, these next four are big. I
Yeah.
know Mississippi State, I know what everybody thinks of them. I know they got drilled by Toledo, but we can't play with our food. We got to keep that standard. We got to keep everything hot. You're basically you're gonna have an off week, you're gonna have a bye week to get healthy. But I mean, it's just literally though. I mean, it's just you gotta. I mean, it's. I mean, you have a week off, so you have to like keep it. You got to keep it going. You got to stay up. You can't play with your food. You can't let this be a 2-3 score game. I want to see Trey Owens playing quarterback. In the fourth quarter. I mean it's. I mean we need this. OU is a different game. We don't even need to think about that. You know, Steven asked which team in the SEC is an underrated threat on our schedule.
Great question.
Arkansas or Kentucky? Which one do you think?
I got Kentucky, and believe it or not, guys,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. We ain't seen enough football. We got to go to. I'm gonna go with Kentucky because they got a big defensive line, huge,
Hmm.
and man, you that Arkansas, bro, they hate Texas, man.
That's to me
They hate
that
Texas.
that being there, and then that quarterback, like, I mean, I know he's hit and miss, like he's like a gamble, but I mean, I don't know. With that guy, I get Stephen McGee vibes. That dude
Yeah,
running around us in College Station. When Vince, I mean, he took care of business, but I mean,
yeah,
he scared the you know what out of us, man. Like that brother can run, he can throw it. He's got a couple of good receivers. He's got a running back that we know very well in Jaquindon Jackson. And then you know, honestly, as bad as that 2021 game was, the Hudson Card game in Arkansas, Sark and we even were mad about this, but he didn't realize the importance of that game. You know that he knows how important that game is.
yeah,
You know, I think Kentucky, obviously, for the reasons of their defensive line, you know, that's a scary game.
yeah,
But Arkansas has a lot of guys, that are going to get drafted. Like they're like this A&M game they got this week is really going to tell you kind of what their season is. If they're able to beat A&M, which I think they will, I mean, either way, that's going to be a big game against us because it's Texas. But if
yeah,
they can keep that confidence and keep playing for that coach, because that coach is not a bad coach, I think Petrino's getting something out of that offense, man. Like we're going to have a couple of tests this year before the season's over. So
Yeah.
So for me, it's Arkansas is the underrated SEC team that you know I'm worried about.
I'm just gonna go Arkansas, of course, we're also playing on the road, but I'm like Steve, man, we owe them, bro.
Yeah,
We owe
yeah,
them.
yeah,
So I'm gonna say Kentucky for right now, from what I saw, how physical they are.
yeah.
But you know what though, man? Be honest with you guys. Has Texas ever have a problem against physical teams? Michigan was more
Oh,
Michigan's defense, the
yeah,
defense is more physical than you can get. We didn't have no issue with them. So I hate to say this because football is right a little bit. It's who can beat us spreading the ball. Arkansas has an athlete at quarterback. He
hmm
can run. He spreads you out. But who knows? Football, bringing this back. You come see me after we handle our business in the next 3 weeks. Then
yeah,
you come see me and we'll talk. But man, you know, other than that, I don't really see anything else simple unless Georgia. I mean, unless I'm sorry, unless Florida catch fire, A&M. Who knows with A&M? They defense look bad. You know, I'm shocked how bad their defense is because I thought that was. But that also show you too they don't have depth. Man, you can have a good starting 11, but your team will wear down. Texas
right,
don't have that issue.
right.
Texas is rolling guys off the bench and then they get more playing time, more playing time. And again, AC, you know, I love Ty Anthony Smith. Shout out to the 409 Jasper, Texas. You know what I'm saying? But
East Texas,
it's
baby.
Beast Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm just looking at this schedule, guys. Man, we must have made a deal with the devil, man. No, I'm just kidding. But look, I mean, and when this schedule was made, nobody thought nobody thought that Florida was going to be this bad.
right.
Nobody thought that
Mississippi State.
A&M, and I mean, but let's be real. Nobody thought A&M was going to be bad like this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When this schedule was made, but then as the season plays out and it goes on, man, if you get past, let me change my language. Excuse me, fellas.
win.
When we get
Thank you.
past Georgia, because
Mhm.
I just don't think Georgia's going to be able to just run it down our throats like that. Unless they can spread it around. Uh, I'm gonna start talking about running the table, and I think we had a video on this a while back. We talked. When do we start? I asked that question. When do
Yeah,
we start talking about running the table? But anyway, Steve, that's all I got, fellas. Man, I
yeah,
appreciate everybody on here, man. Thank y'all,
yeah,
bro, and me and my main man Steve hooked us up, and like I say,
yeah,
man, shout out to the film study crew, Unfiltered
yeah,
Mods, Texas Fanatics, all of them, man. Hey, but we love to talk ball, guys. That's what we do. Have fun, and just dissect the game. Like I say, man, we all shoot our opinions out there. We just we just all passionate about our team. We love our team, and we've been through the good and the bad times. Good times are starting to roll. And like I say, man, I've been a Horns fan. I've been a Horns fan a long time, so
yeah,
I got thick skin now. It don't bother me. So it
yeah,
is what it is. Hook 'em, simp what you got, my brother. What's up, Slick
yeah,
Vic?
yeah. Hey, I mean, this is dude. We have the greatest fans, man. This is the greatest community. I'm so
Yeah.
thankful for Steve for reaching us out. It has been about a almost a little under an hour and a half, so we're probably gonna wrap it up. But I can't wait to be on next time, man. And like Steve always closes it out with, horns always up.